Welcome back everybody to Forza Motorsport. So we're going to be dealing with the Track Specials Championship, so for another 5 races. Now this is part of the Enthusiast Tour. It's the first one of these that we've done, so yeah, we've done 2 in the Modern Tour and 1 in the Power Tour, so let's see what this one has in store for us.
In the 80s and 90s, technically advanced touring car homologation specials were sold in limited numbers, delivering maximum speed, handling, and feedback to the enthusiast behind the wheel in a purposeful, minimalist interior. Prized motorsports unicorns, hunted by collectors for the intense driving experience only this rare breed provides. They now stand ready for our racers to rebuild and hit an extreme level of performance, chasing that checkered flag.
Well, they're 3 very nice cars, all rear-wheel drive, all front-engined, all kind of practical in some regards as well. But yeah, we do have more than just those to choose from. So we have the Alpine GTA Le Mans, which is rear-wheel drive and rear-engined. As you can see, it has a healthy amount of horsepower and torque from its V6 turbocharged engine. But yeah, it doesn't seem to have the best handling or braking. But it does have better braking than the BMW M3, which has more power, less torque, actually more weight as well. In fact, I figured the Alpine, being a bigger car, would have been weighed more, but it does not. Then we have the Ford Falcon, which we already have, which is a nice big V8, and even though it has more power, it's not as much power as you might expect for such a large engined vehicle. Especially since, as you can see, the Sierra Cosworth, with a much smaller engine, is only 44 horsepower down. Has a decent amount of torque, and that weighs less as well. Handling wise, that's better than the other ones, and braking is better as well, and doesn't weigh all that much. Then we have the Holden VL Commodore, again another big V8 engine, not all that much power though, and a fair bit of weight, and not much in the way of handling or braking either. And then finally we have the Mercedes-Benz 190E, which, as you can see, has the best handling and the best braking. Mid-levels of power from its 2.5 litre inline 4. It also weighs a fair bit as well. So I'm stuck between deciding between the Merc and the Alpine, basically, because I think they're the 2 more interesting cars. But the Alpine has a more unusual layout, I guess you could say. Rear-wheel drive, rear-engined. It's also turbocharged. Also has a V6, so it's a much bigger engine than the Merc there, and it doesn't weigh all that much either. Got more torque than it does of power, and yeah, weight-wise it is less than the Merc as well. We're gonna go for the Alpine. I like unusual cars, and it is a pretty unusual car. Also reminds me of the Mad Max vehicle from the front, at least. So yeah, let's get it. And at least the handling and the braking isn't awful or anything like that. We'll get it with blue with a black roof. It looks pretty cool. So yeah, let's see what it can do. So we're on Silverstone Racing Circuit for 5... how many laps? Doesn't say. So let's just continue. We'll see what the car can do on its own first, and then we can build it up from there. So yeah, I think outside of the start of this race, I'm going to just skip forward into the start of the next race after it, just to speed things up, because obviously we have all of this nonsense to go through. We have to start the practice and whatnot, and it does get a little bit boring, I feel. So yeah, after this race, basically after the first race of every championship, we'll skip right ahead into the next race after the fact. So yeah, let's get straight to it. Practice. So yeah, the only worry with this Alpine is obviously with the engine being at the back. That means the majority of the weight is at the back as well, so that can induce some oversteer. So I'm not sure how we're gonna, whether or not that's going to be too much of an issue or not. I know these cars do have quite wide tyres at the rear compared to some of their contemporaries, and it will have obviously been set up to deal with the additional weight at the rear. It's not like they just shoved it in there for the fun of it. Right, we'll start off at 12th like we usually do. Fuel, how many laps? We're doing 6 laps, so we don't need 18 laps worth of fuel. That'll do. Right, so I imagine the BMW M3, the Mercedes-Benz 190e and the Sierra Cosworth will be the free cars to beat, basically, because they won't have pit those for the start with all the torque. If they weren't the kind of cars that are going to be the better ones. But we do have an interesting variety with the Holdens, even the Ford Falcon. Hoping that even though we don't have the most power here, that we, due to the lack of weight that we have going on, will be of benefit. Slight bump on the Falcon there. I did race that Falcon in C-Class online for a fair bit, and it was actually fairly good on in that class, so, but I'm not sure how it deals with D-Class, because straight to C-Class as quickly as possible to get into those races. D-Class racing is currently the only open spec class that's currently available. It was P-Class before that, then I think it was C-Class before that, and then A-Class before that as well, so yeah, they are constantly changing it up, and not enough for my liking, to be honest, and certainly not enough to keep things interesting. I just wish they'd have every class open all the time. Makes no sense to me to only do one at a time. Fairly well with the Alpine so far, 4th place. Because we don't have an engine up front or anything like that, we do have a fair bit of good turning. See? Thing you can do with a car like this that has no engine up front is you can give it a greater turning radius. You can make the wheels turn further. It's one thing that a lot of people have been doing with electric cars. Just making sure that the wheels can turn as much as possible to increase their agility and their ability to drive around normal roads. But it also does have the benefit of working on the track as well. Come on, this Holden clearly has obviously more power than we do, and therefore he's just pulling away on the straights. The fact it has more weight really isn't hindering it too badly. Even though I feel like we're better in the corners, we're just struggling to get around. Come on.
3 to go.
Yeah, we just don't have enough power. As you can see, the Holden is pulling away. Even though we're probably had a better line out of the corner and whatnot. Maybe even more speed out of the corner, would have struggled to keep up on the straights. Oh dear. And we do have a bit of understeer in this car, which I completely forgot about. Oh dear. Sorry, did not mean to hit you there. I was trying to keep in the... Oh, getting a penalty as well for that. I'm probably getting a penalty for going off track as well, thankfully. But yeah, I was just trying to keep in his slipstream as long as possible before I had to try and make the manoeuvre, but accidentally clipped him by accident. Hopefully we can stay at least half a second or so more ahead, so then we won't lose this position. If we don't gain any more, that is. If we do, again, we will need another half a second or more to be ahead of those at the end of the race. It's my own fault. It's a daring manoeuvre and just didn't pull off well enough. Way more understeer in this car than I remember there being. Maybe the tyres are on the way out. As long as we can get a podium, then that is a good start to this championship.
Last lap.
Thing that will be getting an upgrade is the front wheels, because yeah, we need more grip up there, and probably the suspension as well, as that will help the body roll and counteract any issues that that's arising along with. Yeah, third place is fine, especially given how long we were stuck behind that hold and trying to get past. And we held on to that position even with the penalty. So, yeah, I'm fine with that. So, yeah, let's move on to the next race and see how we do with that one. Right, so we're here at Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya, to give it a shorter name, and yeah. I have given the car wider tyres up front and rear, and shoved 10 extra horsepower in the car as well, just to make up for the additional weight that those wider tyres will give. So yeah, let's see if those improvements will help us any which way. Hopefully they will. It should. It definitely will improve the handling, but whether or not we're any faster, we'll have to see. The extra horsepower and torque will offset the weight of the wider tyres, but we'll have to see, I guess. Oh dear, Falcon getting a little aggressive there. Falcon made a daring move, someone's gone off-road. for that. Luckily no penalty. Yeah, this does seem to have greater turning than before. The thing that's really letting us down is the suspension. It's rolling around a fair bit. Still got some understeer, unfortunately. I think once we do the suspension though, and maybe the tyre compound, that will become less apparent. Brakes are fairly good though for a car of this age. Yeah, the front end grip just isn't consistent enough to be as brave as I would like. Past our fellow Alpine. So we're now in the top 5. Plenty of racing left to do, so we should hopefully gain some more places. I'd like to improve on our third position in the previous race, but you can never know really. So we're going to get stuck behind another car for a couple of laps.
3 more.
Come on, get past the Sierra. Past at least one of them. Certainly not had the oversteer that you might expect for a car with this layout. It's been more understeer. Oh dear. Took me realise we were cutting that as much as we were. It's really the understeer that's more of an issue, and I think it might be because once you accelerate or once you put any power down whatsoever, the rear pitches down due to the soft suspension, and that means the front kind of lifts up as well, which means you have less contact with the road. That'll be less of an issue once we do get the suspension sorted out, but yeah, because the suspension is quite soft, you haven't got consistent traction on the go. So that's why sometimes we have decent grip up front, and then other times we don't. Really do need that consistency to be able to put in good lap times. Not sure if you can see it or not, but you can see sometimes that the front looks like it's lifting up. It's not a constant issue, but it does dent your confidence in the car in terms of what it can and can't do. Because you're forever expecting the car to suddenly want to lose front end grip. There's a bit of that oversteer we're expecting. It's about time it reared its ugly head. I think we're faster down the straights than the 190E.
Final lap.
Yep. Even though he has more power, we've got less weight. Have better handling than us though, so we'll have to watch out for that. Especially with our suspension issues. But we have at least improved on our race position in the previous race at Silverstone. Finally got a fast clean lap in as well, just to end. Well, it did say we're a half a second ahead and then it doesn't give it us, so yeah, we clearly weren't that far ahead. But yeah, regardless, second place there will help, gain 10 whole positions there. Did anyone have a really bad race? Yes, 24th place went from 5th to 24th, that's a drop of 19 places, that's huge. I'd be annoyed if that was me, but yeah, that second place gives us 48 points overall, meaning we're only 1 point clear of first place, who yeah, only gained 21 points and we gained 4, so 4 more. So yeah, still everything to play for in the 3rd and 4th and 5th races, but still, nonetheless, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the second part of this championship. Bye.